Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel, and today, as the title suggests, we are going to be getting into things you should know, things I found out, things I feel like you should just know before you even try to step into this lock game, because a lot of it is things that I knew before, but some of it is things that I discovered as my lock journey continued. So we're just gonna roll into it. Let's go. So the very first thing I want you guys to really figure out is you gotta know your capabilities, right? You gotta know if this is something that you want to do, you can do, you know what I mean, by yourself. So capabilities meaning, am I gonna do my own locks or am I gonna go to a loctician? And then you gotta know, the pros and cons of both, and you gotta know, that dollar amount that's attached with going to somebody else versus you doing it yourself. You just really got to figure that out for yourself. For me personally, I always do my own hair. I had one bad experience when I used to get braids. This lady took my edges out. I still got a little plug here, but
it's cool. I'm still cute.
But ever since then, I was like, I'm going to do my own hair. I will be self-sufficient. I will do it myself. I'm good. No. So I decided to start my own journey by myself, and so that's probably the first thing you should want to know when you're starting it. Second thing you need to know is basically the size that you want. And then the sizing of your locks, it has a lot to do with, one, your density, the parting, and just the way you choose to start whatever method you choose to start. That's gonna be another one. So basically, I say all this to say, like, you can look at someone's locks and say, oh, I want my locks to be that thick, right? But if y'all don't have the same hair texture, you can't look at theirs and then say, oh, let's do the exact same thing on mine, because it's not gonna come out the same way. That's not how it works. But that's definitely something that you definitely need to figure out, like sizing, parting, and then how all that plays into like your density, the starting method you use, and all that kind of stuff. So that leads me into my tip number 3, is to know how you want to start. And if you ask me today, hey Victoria, I'm like, wait, 4 months in now, would you start the same way? Me, myself, I didn't do enough searching, because I didn't even know there was a method where you could literally start locks day 1, and that's like the crochet hook method, where it's called like instant locks. And if I knew about that, I definitely probably would have started that way. But I'm telling you this so that you won't be in my situation. But yeah, so you gotta know what method you want to start with. If you want to do 2-strand twists, if you want to do what I just mentioned, the crochet instant lock kind of technology, if you want to do braids, if you want to do interlocking, there's so many. You gotta just do your research and make sure, for the size you want, you have the correct starter method. Because if you're doing the interlock, they're gonna be a lot skinnier, and you won't be able to probably get that thickness that you want if that's what you're going for or whatever. So those two go hand in hand, like knowing how you want to start, like 2-strand twist, and then knowing like the size, because that all plays into the whole equation of how they'll turn out, right? You have to know why you want locks and like what you're doing this for. If this is just like a stage and you want locks for a year, it's probably not the best thing to do for you. If this is like a lifelong thing you want to do, definitely look into it, kind of thing, right? So your motivation behind it, really, you need to really hone that, and because that could determine like which way you start. Like, let's say you like the way they look on you, but you don't want to go through the struggle, because you just like to look, you just don't want to, I don't want to say struggle, I call it the highly anticipated for the future phase, right? So you don't want to go through that phase. So you probably do the instant lock because your motivation for it is different. If you're somebody that's like really trying to get in touch with yourself and like really all about the journey and everything, then definitely you would probably want to do like, non-instant lock methods, right? You have to learn to love to see yourself with your natural hair. And that's a really big one, because for me personally, I would change my hair all the time. I would wear wigs, braids, everything. I had yarn in my head at one point. You know how yarn braids was a thing before we got the actual dreadlock hair that you can kind of like crochet now. People was doing yarn and I was all into that. Like I had yarn in my hair, y'all. That's so funny looking back at it. But I say all that to say you have to learn to love it. Learn to love your hair, because all you're gonna have is your hair. You know what I mean? You have to wake up and see the beauty in it. You know, love yourself. You have to, because you're gonna see, like, if you go on this journey, I have seen myself look crazy and I had to just, you know, really just look in the mirror and see past it and just see, you know, really focus on my face, really focus on, you know, just loving myself unconditionally, because it's so easy to just put on that wig, right, and walk out the house. So I mean, you can still do that with locks. I did a video on that. You can still do that with locks, but I'm just saying in the long run, you know, you're doing locks because you want to be seen with them. You know, like it's not something that you do to put under your hair as a protective style. Like, you're doing locks so that you can wear them out and rock your locks, right? Right. You need to know how to embrace bad hair days, because every single day is not, especially when you're doing start lock phase, every single day is not rainbows and sunshine. You know, that first week, like for me, my first week when I had my 2-strand twists, I was looking so cute. I was like, oh my God, my twists are so cute. And then that 3-week hit, I was working out a lot. Roots started to get poofy. I was just like, wow, I have to really embrace this look, because I know where I'm trying to get, and this is just the baby step in getting there, right? Gotta know that. You got to be okay with bad hair days. And if you're coming from like having just the free curly natural hair, which is what I had before this, it's really easy to embrace a bad hair day with that kind of hair, to me personally, because I was the type of person, I like the wild look. So I was just like, you know, I wake up and go kind of thing. So it's a lot easier to embrace it in a sense with that kind of hair. But with this kind of hair, I really, like, your self-confidence is really tested. I'm just gonna say that my self-confidence was really tested, and I'm glad I'm doing this, because every single day that goes on, it just makes me stronger in a sense of that kind of like not being perfectly put together kind of thing every single day. But yeah, discrimination, you gotta be, you wake up. It's gonna happen. It's happened to me already. A lot of people, not a lot of people, but you will find some people that do discriminate or do feel some type, or treat you some type of way when they realize you have locks kind of thing. Like, I've done a social experiment and everything, y'all. So I really know this because I've experienced this firsthand. And like, I'll like wear my curly wig to go out certain places, and then sometimes I'll go to those same places without them, and like sometimes the treatment is different, and you just gotta be woke to that, and just don't let that really deter you from the journey, and don't let what other people think of you you know, make you feel some type of way, get to you. You know, don't let people steal your joy, because if you let people steal your joy, you're just gonna be sad all the time, because everybody got something to say, right? Everyone has something to say. Everyone, right? So keep that in mind. Discrimination is real. It happens, especially in the professional setting. So be aware, but don't let that deter you. Just know that's there. That's a factor in the equation. So one of my reasons for going into this lock journey was I actually thought that this would be easy. I thought that it would be low maintenance, it'd be really easy. I wouldn't have to do my hair a lot, and some of that is true. Like, you know, when I wake up, I have like a regimen. I spray my hair, I oil it or whatever, and I go. But yo, retwisting, it takes me so long to do that. And I know if you go get that done by somebody else, probably doesn't take as long, but I've never done that. But for me personally, it takes me a long time to do it. Granted, I only have to do it once a month, but still, It takes some time. And then just the whole, trying to figure out styles to wear with it. I think it's just like when you're first starting out, it's a lot of work because you're not used to it, right? You just gotta get in a routine, get those habits forming, right? And then you'll get there. But it's actually a lot of work having locks. I will say that. It's a lot of work because it's still your hair. You know how you have those protective styles and you can have braids and you can do nothing to it. It's very low maintenance. You just keep going because that's not your hair. But this is your hair. You have to protect it. You have to make sure you're moisturizing from the root all the way to the tip. You gotta make sure nothing breaks off, right? So you have to, you have to know that it's a lot of work, you guys, because it's your hair. You gotta take care of it. So that was one huge misconception that I had. I was like, oh, I'm gonna get dreads, I won't have to, or locks, I won't have to, really do much. But it's a lot. I would say it's a lot. Me and my cousin, she got them too, and I remember we were talking to each other for Christmas, and we were like, I really didn't realize how much work this was gonna be. Like, the reason why I did this because I thought it wouldn't be a lot of work, but it's a lot of work and maintenance, and you just, but in the end it's all worth it. And you get into, like I said, you get into these habits where it's just, you don't even think it's work, right? So there's that. Separating married locks. Oh my gosh, you guys, it is the most painful experience. And you're kind of like, I hope I didn't hurt my lock when you're trying to separate them. And it is like, you just got to be aware of that before you get into it. Because when I tell you, this is a fresh retwist. I put my hair in this little style, and y'all, my head is so sensitive because I get a lot of married locks in the crown of my head. And I was up here like, and then you gotta separate and pull the hair strands between each other, because I work out a lot and I sweat a lot, and I try to like separate them after I go work out because my hair's still, and I sweat a lot in my head, and so I try to like separate them and all that kind of stuff. But you can only do so much when it's actually time to actually wash your hair and you put the shampoo on. Everything gets tangled again, and then you're sitting there trying to retwist, and it just, it is a painful experience, and I need you to be aware of it before you start. If you are tender-headed, you might want to think twice, because even like just my daily routine, my head is like very sensitive, and it might be sensitive because I'm not dealing with it as much. But like, I'll like feel through whenever I'm like 3 weeks post retwist, and like I'll pull some of them sometimes and it'll be very sensitive. I've never had like a sensitive scalp like that, or I've never been like tender-headed. So I've been really confused about that. I'm like, why is it hurting when I do certain things? But yeah, married locks, detangling, I don't want to say detangling, but separating your locks, it's just as bad as detangling your natural hair, but like 10 times worse, honestly, truly. Not over exaggerating, because it's right there at your root, and you're just like, and it literally, if you join me, you'll see when you do it, you'll see. All in all, you guys, I am very, very glad I'm doing this. I asked myself a question before, but I want to ask it again. My question is for myself and for you too. If you are on your lock journey, if you could start over, what would you have done differently now that you know what you know in your journey? For me personally, it is one, I probably would have, I think my parting in a sense, because obviously your hair around your edges is a lot thinner than the hair further back, and I did my parting small around my edges. So if I would start all over, I would make them a little bit larger, because the actual thickness of the locks around my edges are a lot smaller than the ones that are, in the crown and in the back section of my head. I would definitely change that, that parting. And then another thing I would change is, I like the size I have now, but if I ever were to redo them, I would be very conflicted between like making them larger versus making them smaller, because if I did them smaller, I would be able to interlock. And y'all know the benefits of interlocking is you can interlock and literally just go out and do whatever, live your life, go swimming, go work out, do whatever, and your hair still looks fresh. But with the, you know, the palm rolling, yo, you gotta be very strategic with the way you plan that week or 2 weeks, however long you're trying to stretch it, that retwist. Yeah, that I would definitely reconsider that. I would reconsider making them smaller so I can do that interlock method, or I would reconsider making them a little bit larger, preferably probably on the smaller side, because one of the main reasons why I wanted to get locks is because I was like, oh my God, when I have my hair, my natural hair, and I go work out, I sweat it out, da 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 da. Interlock would have been perfect just for that purpose alone, and I work out. So I know I said that already. I keep saying I work out, I work out. My question to myself, I wonder, what are y'all's, what if y'all could start today, what would y'all do different, right? Like, that's a good question. But thank you for watching, and I hope this wasn't too long-winded, and I hope you learned something. And if not, you know, don't hit that dislike button. Just click off, go somewhere else. Bye. Have a nice day.